Just that we can come back on a quick turnaround with having to travel and bounce back on a short turnaround, not being able to spend a lot of time on the floor, really execute a defensive game plan that Coach Schaefer put together, which I thought was our most complete defensive effort of the year. To be able to defend without fouling those guys is really hard to do, and I thought we did that for the majority of the game until the fourth quarter there. So much needed. We got a lot of extra lineups played today that we've needed to get on film, and I think it's something we needed to have in the scope of what our season, the way our schedule is breaking down. Get a day off tomorrow, much needed, before we go play a really good Abilene Christian team.
I know some coaches don't give a rip about blocks, but to get 13 blocks instead of single game program record, is that really something that excites you? Yeah,
sure. We did it without fouling. If I'd have looked down there and we had more fouls than blocks, then I'd have had a little bit of a problem. But, they drive it really good. That's what the dribble drive does. We run that for a reason, and I thought our kids did a nice job. Kiera was really active early, then Macy late in the game. I'm looking down now. That's a bunch of blocks to have, maybe the most I've ever been a part of. So, if they're within the flow of the game, I'm okay with them. It's not something we actively try to go out and do. But, again, we only foul them. They only shoot 9 free throws, so we'll take that.
Your last record was set in 82 that you broke.
1982?
Just feel Dungy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Feel Dungy's just on a roll right now as far as just her scoring.
Just getting comfortable, really comfortable with, where her shots are coming from. She's one of those kids. We talked about being a gym rat and a little bit of a film junkie, and just really under control, playing within herself, doing it a lot of different ways to get 28 today without a free throw, and then get 26 or 7 the other day with 16 free throws. It shows you what a matchup problem she can create. And I think, too, the other thing that's happening, and you have to really have watched a lot of film on us, we're really starting to share the ball a lot better. We're finding the best shot in about 85 to 90% of our possessions right now. And she's eliminated a couple of shots that just you can't make every game, and now she's taking those in-rhythm threes, and now she really gets on a row. And when she starts feeling it, look out, because she'll just back you off and pull that jump shot from about 15 feet. So get in a good place, and I think our kids are learning to play together a little bit. I made a mistake last year in not letting Chelsea and IT play with our returners very much. I probably should have done that more late in the year and in practice, but I just didn't. At that point in time, I didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. But now we've got 5 games from it, or 3 games in Italy, a couple exhibition games, and 9 games here. We should be in midseason form, and I think she's starting to look like it.
Could you talk about how important it was to come out with a strong first quarter after a short turnaround?
Yeah, that was matching the energy was the thing. We were both on the road. They had to take a bus. We flew on an airplane. They had a long practice yesterday. I had a very short practice yesterday. So I told our kids, if y'all ever want it to be that way again, you need to come out and play with the energy that I allowed you to have. We didn't tax your legs, so if you're mentally tired, that's one thing. So get over it. And I heard them talking about in the locker room, they're like, hey, let's go. So the other thing we did, we talked about being down 15. That was the last thing I said to him in the huddle. I said, when we get down and our back's against the wall in these late games like we're down 15, we play with a sense of urgency. So guess what? We're down 15-0. And they looked at me like, Mal thought, for real? And I said, no, Mal, we're not down 15-0, but figuratively. So at halftime, I think it was a 15-point game at halftime, maybe right on the dot or close to it. So to come out and do it again in the third quarter, so not only the first quarter, but to do it again in the third quarter, they'll learn a short day the next time we have a quick turnaround.
So how important was it for both you and Alexis to leave her out there, even though she was, starting off slow again today?
Well, that's why we left her in there, to get one. It just takes one for her and a kid like that. And that one that she got there late in the game, we called a set play for her to get that, and I think that's going to carry some confidence over. That's why we put her back in there late in the game, because once we get her going and we keep everybody else going, that's when we can, I think, be pretty dangerous.
You talked about Weaver a little bit, but how about a word in praise of her effort coming in, when she did to get that much done?
Sure. She's a kid that with certain matchups, like a game tonight, she can really impact the game. And she's worked so hard in practice. It's a kid that's just a sponge. Her and Coach Love have developed a really good position coach-player relationship, and she's earned that. She's earned the opportunity, and you can see her in certain lineups being our kind of a three-headed monster instead of a two-headed monster with Kiera and Taylor. With certain matchups, she can certainly be a kid that only a sophomore can impact us because she does have great size and her athleticism is really improving. Thanks, everybody. Gonna be home by